14-year-old Yagiz Kaan Erdogmus is here on your screen. He is taking on one of the world's best players, the candidate, 2026 candidates participant Praggnanandhaa. In the previous round, Yas played an absolute stunner against Arjun Erigaisi, which many dubbed as an insane game by the youngster. And today he takes on Prag with the white pieces and will be trying to score another win. Let's see if he manages to do that. Praggnanandhaa adjusts all his pieces. The game begins. Always exciting to see Yaz in action. He pushes his pawn to e4. What is this young 14-year-old Turkish boy capable of achieving is the question. His rating is 2658, Sicilian by Prag. And by the way, Prag is still searching for his first win in this tournament, which goes to show that he is not in his best shape. Knight c6. And will Yaz play the open Sicilian with d4 or will he go for the Rosolimo? He goes for the Rosolimo here with bishop to b5. And Prag plays e6. The idea of this move is to get the knight to e7, kick the bishop away. But even before black can get the knight in, white chops off on c6. B takes c6 by Prag, capturing towards the center, hoping to play pawn to d5. And b3 played here. e5 by Prag. This is the same move that Boris Gelfand played against Viswanathan in their World Championship match in 2012. Takes on e5, and in both the games, Anand took the pawn. Queen e7 was played by Boris, which is what Prag does. Bishop b2 was played in one game and d4 in another. Let's see what Yas chooses. He goes bishop b2 and now d6 is one of the main moves here, but f6 played by Prag. Now this would surely come as a surprise to Yas, which is why he starts to think and he comes down to 1 hour 32 minutes. Look at the position carefully now. Black has recovered the pawn, but all the pieces remain underdeveloped. Meanwhile, white is ready to castle, get the knight out to c3 with a tempo, and Prag is essentially saying that I am banking on my bishop pair and my center control to be able to fight against your lead in development. That's just amazing. Knight comes to e7, blocking the e file here. Knight to c3, attacking the queen on e4. The queen has to move away, but where exactly? He goes queen h4. Maybe Prag is still in his preparation. Yaz does feel it that he should be better here. He goes rook e1, but the amount of time he's taking is huge. Prag already has 1 hour 10 minutes time lead. King f7 played and queen to f3, putting pressure on the d5 pawn. Queen g5 by Prag, and now I love this move, knight a4. He's attacking c5. He's ready to play bishop a3. Prag goes knight g6. All of Prag's pieces are still not developed, but essentially he wants to go bishop d6 next, take away the g3 square, which is why Yaz trades off the queens, which is the best move. Takes, pawn takes, and now if you can later get bishop a3 and hit upon this pawn, that would be cool. Knight e5 played, and bishop comes to a3. Prag can defend passively with knight d7, but he goes for active play with pawn to c4. Chops off on f8. Rook takes f8. And now maybe you don't want to take on c4 just yet. He plays f4, a very direct move. And the idea is to take and win a pawn. But Prag is like, I'll first take on e3 when you take on c4. So Prag slowly and steadily is equalizing here. He takes on c4. Knight takes e3, I guess, is a must. Because if you take here, I'll take on c4. So knight e3 taken. Rook takes e3. Somehow Pragg has magically caught up in development. Now you take here on c4, get your bishop out, get your rook to b8, the other rook to d8, put pressure here. But one thing is for sure, white, oh, he goes knight b2. I was wondering if you could go knight c5, but then rook d8 and putting pressure on d2. So knight b2, bishop e6 by Pragg. And Yaz was 16 minutes on the clock to make 18 more moves. Goes rook a e1. He's putting pressure on the e6 pawn. Rook e8, defending the bishop. And next move, you want to play rook b8. The rook comes to c3, and there's no way to defend this pawn. Bishop d5, offering a trade of rooks. Yaz is ready to capture here. Rook takes e8 makes a lot of sense. And he's going to the rook, takes it. Pragg takes it back. Rook takes e8. And now if knight takes c4, you have rook e2 coming in. So he takes it. Rook e2, attacking g2. And he comes into e2. Knight goes to e3. But now you can take the pawn on d2. Pragg chops off the pawn. But Yaz has something more to play for. Rook a3. He's attacking the pawn on a7. What a lovely move. King g6. Pragg is activating his king. This game is getting super exciting with the time pressure setting in. 12 more moves to make to reach move 40. King f1 by Yaz. h5 played, trying to clamp down on this structure. Just not letting the white pawns advance. Rook takes a7, taken. And maybe bishop e4 to attack the c pawn is the best move. And he plays it. The question is, what do you do to king e1? Maybe there's rook d4 here. He comes back, rook a3. And if you take on c2, king e1 is just winning for white. So have to be careful here as Pragg, he goes back, rook d7. And Pragg is now a pawn down. Through all this brilliant play, Yaz has actually won a pawn, rook a4, and now important to play f5 to fix the bishop here, and this is good compensation. But Pragg decides to go bishop d5, and that is a very surprising move because now he comes up. There are ideas of c4. It's as if black has lost all his coordination. Rook a5 now to cut the king off and start pushing the a pawn down the board. And rook a5 has been played. Excellent move. King h6 and a4. Maybe even a3 to be calmly starting off. Yes, a3 played. Yagiz Kaan Erdogmus is winning here. Bishop g4 check, and now you take the bishop. Take, and play a4, and this is a winning endgame for white. Believe it or not. Yaz can simply win it, but he doesn't. He goes back king e1. Why didn't he take the bishop is the big question. What stopped Yaz from capturing that bishop? Rook d4, now Pragg comes in. He's like, my rook is active. Still, take here, rook a6. But it's quite tempting to keep the knight on the board. He goes rook c5, but doesn't this allow rook a4 to win the pawn on a3? Maybe Yaz wants to keep the material. k3, rook c3 is getting a bit passive there. Yes, rook comes to c3. And maybe he wants to come like this. But now Pragg is like, I don't give you my bishop. Bishop d7 played. Knight to c4. Bishop e6, attacking the knight, and threatening to take and take on a3. So he comes back knight b2, attacking the rook here. Well, one of the problems that white faces is that the black king can enter here and create counterplay. So rook a5 played, and that is what could be very worrisome. By the way, if you take here on c6, I have bishop d5 attacking the rook and the g2 pawn. So that's the problem. By the way, 40 moves have just been done for both the players, and Yaz now goes knight to d3. It's incredible how Praggnanandhaa has managed to dodge the bullet here. Bishop d5 now protecting the pawn, also attacking g2. But after king f2, there is knight b4, attacking c6 and d5. So he plays king f2. King to g6. And maybe knight b4. And you can see Yaz's enthusiasm has reduced a bit. But with this move, he is attacking both these pieces. And Pragg can go, he can let it be. He can bring his king in. He plays bishop e4. And the point is, if you take on c6, bishop c6, rook c6, I have rook a3. And my king is coming in. The c pawn isn't running anywhere. The check's in the position. These pawns are weak. So he does take on c6. And I believe Pragg would finally manage to get the draw here. Bishop c6 here, taken. Rook takes c6 and rook a3. And this is a draw now. Rook c, he's going to move his rook here. He offers a draw and Pragg is like, sure, I'm happy with the draw. A missed opportunity there for the youngster, but what a great play by him. He almost managed to beat another world-class opponent, and Praggnanandhaa, well, his opening preparation was top-notch, but after that, he wasn't able to follow up with best play. In fact, Yaz took all the chances for himself. Pragg managed to equalize, but again, Yaz got his chance. What an amazing young talent he is. Absolutely brilliant.